let's begin with the current date and time, so that we can be able to understand the functions of the current date and time. And then, of course, we'll get to look at the age and, of course, how to extract the data in that manner. So the date-time functions in the SQL or in my SQL, we can be able to talk of these particulars. So let's get to understand the current date and time. Yeah. So in MySQL, you can actually perform the various operations on the date and the time values. So of course, you'll use the built-in date and time functions. So these particular functions, they allow you so that you can be able to manipulate and also to format. So you can be able to manipulate and also to be able to format and also to extract the information from the date and the time values, which is stored in MySQL tables. So let's get to look at these particulars. So we can be able to look at the current date. Yeah. So the current date will actually return to you the current date in form of the year, the month, and the day format. Yeah. So you'll actually just say like, you can be able to say like, select now, or in MySQL, you'll just select the current date by just saying this particular manner. So you'll say like in MySQL, you'd say like so you'll say like select the current date, yeah, in that manner. So let me execute this, the current date. So you can be able to see that the current date is given to me in form of the year, the month, and the day. So today is actually the 4th of March, 2024. That's actually the current date. You can also be able to look at the current time. So in terms of the current time, you'll just say select current time. So when you execute that particular, that will also give you the current time. The current time is, so for me, actually, the current time is this particular 2:28, yeah. Of course, when you execute again, it will change and give you even this particular sequence. So of course, it gives the current time in form of the hour, the minute, and the second. Yeah, so that's actually the current time. So it returns for you the current time in form of the hour, minute, second format. You can also be able to give the current timestamp. Yeah. So the current timestamp actually gives you the year, the month, the date, the day, the date, I mean, that is which day of the month, the hour, the minute, and the second. So actually that happens in this manner. The current timestamp. So to look at the current timestamp, basically we do that in this manner. Select current time stamp. So when I execute this particular one, so you can be able to see it gives me the year, month, day, hour, minute, second, that month. So that's actually the current timestamp. So then, of course, you can also be able to look at the date format. Yeah. So the date format, the formats of the date actually, the formats of the date values, according to the specified format, string that basically we did. So like, for example, we can have maybe a date which is given in form of the year, the month, and the day. So how can we give that particular date format? Yeah. So we can say the date format and say like say like, for example, select the date format. Then of course you'll have to give the format in this manner. Say that we need the format in form of the year, and then modulus, the month, and then month should be this way. Then we need also the day, modulus day, that manner. So let's say that I know this actually will not run for now. Let's say that we want to give the particular date format for now. Yeah. So we'll say like, give me the date format for now. And of course, let's close this. Yeah. For the now dash manner. So let me run this and see. So of course you can be able to see the format in which it gives me is the year, the month, and and basically that's just basically the default. You can also be able to change and say like maybe you want it in form of, let's say that the day, the month, the year, so you can be able to see it gives me the day, the month, and the year, 4th March 2024, in that manner. So you can just be able to specify the order that you want the date to be written in that particular way. Then the other bit is you can also be able to give, add maybe, you can also be able to add maybe an interval to the date value. Yeah. Like maybe you want the date values in an interval of maybe 1 day. So you can be able to say like, give particular intervals, like let's say of time. But basically that should be like intervals of dates. So let's say like, for example, you're having select date, add, then we'll say like we have 2022 0101, yeah, in that manner. Then say we want an interval, of 1 day. Let me close that. So let me run this and see. So the next, it gives you actually the next day, you can be able to see the next days. the 2nd of 2022 in that manner, 2022, 01, 02, and so on. Then we can also even be able to subtract, yeah, maybe subtract an interval from a particular date value, yeah. Say like maybe you want to subtract 1 month from this particular date that we have. So let's say like maybe subtract a date interval. So to subtract a date interval, basically, I can be able to say like select date, subtract, yeah, sub, yes, date subtract in that manner. Then I'll say, I'll give the particular date that I want, 2022, 01, 01. Then I'll say like 2022, 01, 01. Then I'll say like the interval that I need actually to be subtracted, interval is 1 month. One month in that manner. Let me run this so that I can be able to see that. So you can be able to see it takes me now to 2021, December 1st. That's actually 1 month away from this particular date that we have here. The next bit on the date time is how we can be able to find the number of days between maybe some two particular dates, yeah? So we can say like find the number of days between two dates. So if you want to find those particular, you can actually be able to do it in this manner. We'll just say like select, then of course we have the particular end date and the start date. Then of course that would actually select the date if, yeah, in this particular manner, date, dated, it's actually dated if, yes, dated if, then we select the ending date, yeah. Let's say that the ending date was actually, let's use like maybe for example, 2022, from December 31st, the ending date, and maybe from January 1st, the starting date to December 31st ending date. So of course we start with the ending date and say 2022, let's say like 12/31, all the way to comma, is begin we start at the beginning 2022, 01, 01. Let me run this, execute that. So that actually gives me there are 364 days between those particular dates, yeah. Those particular days, there are actually 364 days between 31st of December 2022 to 1st, between actually and 1st of January 2022 and the 31st December 2022. There are 364 days in between those two particular values. The next bit that we have is the date time. What actually do we have next? How can we be able to find maybe the month name? Yeah, how can we find the month name? So to find the month name, it's quite simple. We'll just say like select the month name. Then we say like maybe we give a particular date, like let me say like maybe 2022, maybe 02, maybe 28th of February 2022. So let me run this or let me execute that. So I can be able to see that it gives me the name of that particular month as February. Yeah, so that's actually what it does for us. So you want to say like maybe for example, the one that uses the day, the month, or the year. Like for example, 28, 02, 2022. Yeah. Also, we run this particular, it actually gives you a null because it does not understand this particular, it doesn't understand this particular date. Yeah. The standard date format that basically is there is actually the year, the month, and the day. That's actually the standard that the SQL, the standard dates that actually the SQL understands. If you try to change to another, basically it will give you an error. Unless maybe you are giving, or you're actually giving a different date format in this manner, or you're specifying a date format that you want it to print for you in this particular manner. To change the format instead of now. So the now that I was actually using here is just to change for me the current date. Yeah, the current date that is actually the now, the current date to this particular format, the day, the month, and the year. Because the default date that we have is actually the year, the month, and the day. So that's actually when I execute this particular, one, you can be able to see that the dates are changed to 4th of March 2024, but the standard of how it actually looks at the date is the year, the month, and the day. So basically, what we are going to cover today, we're going to look at things like we're going to look at the current date and time. And then, of course, we'll try to look at the age and how to be able to perform or do our extraction. So those are the basic things that we are going to look at today. So that being said, just a minute. Yeah, so that's actually what we're going to look at. So we are going to understand what actually the current date, how to be able to get the current date, and of course the time functions. And then of course we'll try to understand also the age function. And we'll also look at how to be able to perform extraction, or how to be able to look at a few of the extract functions that we have. So I think let's get started. So let us first of all understand what actually the SQL, the date time functions are. Yeah, so that's actually will be our first thing to be able to understand. So in my SQL, the date and time functions, they're actually the set of the built-in functions that we have in MySQL. So basically what they do is that they allow you so that you can be able to perform the various operations on the date and the time values. So these particular functions, they can actually be used so that you can be able to extract maybe parts of the date, you can be able to manipulate a date, and also the time values. So that of course you can be able to perform, if it's either a calculation you want to perform, if you want to actually format the date and the time values and so on. So let's get to look at what happens in the date time function. So the first thing that we have is to actually return or get to look at what is actually the current date and the current time. So for us to be able to find the current date and the current time, you'll actually just use the now function so that of course you can be able to get the current date and the current time. So just trying to connect that. Let's just get a query here for the same. Let's just get a SQL query. So let me just so let's just name it like so let's just name it like date time in that manner. Some files. Well, let's name this file. Yeah, so let's get here. So when you want to actually return the current date and the current time in the SQL, I'll just give like this manner, select now that manner. So when I just run this particular, you can be able to see it returns for me the current date and the current time. The current date is actually 10th of March, 2024. And of course, the current time was when that actually was Reynolds, 1:42 and 22 seconds. Yeah, so that's actually what it actually returns as my current date and the current time based on actually where you're located. So that's actually how to be able to return the current date and the current time in SQL. So after that, so I've just given that particular. So we can also be able to also return also the current date, yeah, the current date alone. So to return the current date alone, you'll just actually use the function current COR date, yeah. So this is actually to select to return date and time. So for us to get the current date. So to get the current date, basically, we'll just use car. Now let's select the current date. Select the current date. That manner. So when you actually run this particular current date, that will actually give you the current date, which is 24/03, 10th of March, 2024. That's actually how you can be able to get the current date. So that's actually how to find the current date. Then we also have got the current time. So the current time is actually given with car time. So the manner in which you can be able to find that is in this manner. So to find the current time, so we just use select current time. So basically when I run this particular one, you can be able to see it will give me the current time 1:44.5 in that manner. So that's actually how to be able to find the current time. Then we also have got how can you be able to find the current, so that's how it's the current time. So the date actually also extracts for us, the date actually extracts for us the date. Yeah, so you can be able to find like the current date. Yeah, you can be able to also extract the time part from the date time expression. Yeah. So if you have got the date time expression, which basically the date time expression should supposed to give you the particular date, like the year, YYY, the month, MM, the time, the date, which is DD. Then it goes ahead and gives you the particular time, that is actually the hours, HH, minutes, and seconds. So if you want to actually go ahead and extract the date part from to extract the date part from the date time expression, you can actually be able to perform it in this manner. So sorry. Let me just open that, sorry. Sorry about that. So if you want to actually find also to be able to extract the date part from the date time expression. So let's say like to extract. So from the date time expression, not function, but expression, you can actually be able to find that in this manner. Select date. So let's just give now in that manner. Then of course I'll just pass it in that way. So this will go ahead and actually give me the current date or to actually extract from me the date from actually the to select for me the date from the current date time expression that we have. So let me run this. So of course you can be able to see that goes ahead and runs, and of course it gives us just now the particular date that we have in that month. So that's actually how to be able to get the current date that we are having in that manner. You can also be able to just give the current time. Yeah. So how can you be able to select just the current time? So I can be able to select just the current time in this manner. Extract, I mean. So to select to actually extract the current time, I'll just say select the time. Yeah, select the time. Let me say now in that manner. So let me run this. So of course that goes ahead and gives me just the current time that that is there. So that's actually how to be able to extract. Then let's get to look at how you can also be able to extract. How can you be able to go ahead and also extract the current day? Yeah. So to get to extract the current day, basically extract the current day. So to be able to extract the current day, basically I'll just say select the day, yeah, from now So let me go ahead and execute that. So you can be able to say it, you can be able to see it gives me day 10, yeah, which is just the 10th day of the month. So it selects for me the particular day. So how can I also get the month? So select the month, yeah. To extract the month. So to extract the month, I'll just say select month, select month. Now, so let me execute that. That goes ahead and selects for me the month. We are in the third month in that manner. Then if I want to also get only the year, yeah, so extract only the year. So to be able to extract the year alone, I'll simply just say select year. Let me execute that. So you can be able to see that goes ahead and select for me only the year in that manner. Then so that's actually in terms of being able to perform the different extractions that are basically there. So we can be able to extract the day, the month, the year, can be able to extract the time, can be able to extract just the day alone. So up to there, I think I want us to get to the age bit of it. But just before we get into the age bit of it, okay, so let's get to look at the age. It's good up to there. So let's get to look at age function as well. So what the age function does for us in MySQL, the particular function here that we're talking of, age function, it actually subtracts the argument, which is actually producing a symbolic result that actually uses the years and the month. So it's not like a specific function that we're actually talking of called the age. But of course, when you're actually dealing with MySQL, there isn't actually the built-in function for specifically named age, which is maybe for calculating age directly from maybe a birth date. However, you can actually achieve the calculations of the age using various of the date functions that we were actually looking at before. So one common method that actually you can be able to use is to subtract the birth date from the current time, and then of course you then of course you extract the year component. So how can you be able to do this? So to be able to perform that, you can be able to do it in this manner. So you can be able to perform it in this manner. Select the time stamp difference. Yeah, the timestamp difference. But of course, inside it, I'll just give like the year. The year is actually what I want. So I'll just say year. Then I'll give the particular birth date. Yeah, birth date. Let me just pass the birth date in this month. The birth date. Then I'll also pass the current date. So the current date actually will be this one, the current date. Yeah, in that manner. So I'll just give that so that of course it can be able to give me the date. So that of course it can be able to give me the date. So let's say maybe, for example, you had got data which was having maybe the birth date of different people. So of course you can be able to have that particular birth date and just say that you want actually that, then of course give into your table the particular ages that you actually need. So this is actually the manner in which you can be able to extract the particular agent and age of from actually the birth date that you're given. So what actually happens here, the timestamp that you are having, the timestamp function, yeah, this particular timestamp function, it actually calculates for us the difference in years between the birth date and the current time. And then, of course, the year, it actually gives us, it's the year is specified as the unit to be actually used to compute the difference. So that, of course, when it gets to maybe a particular year, it will actually be able to only use the years. If you're actually working with maybe let's say 1993 and 1993 and maybe the current date, it will actually be able to subtract 2024 minus 1993. So that of course you can get that in that manner. So that's basically what happens when you're dealing with the age in MySQL. So like for example, if yeah, so if actually your table actually perhaps you had got a table which actually was storing for you the birth dates in a format that is actually isn't directly compatible with the MySQL date function, then you might actually need to convert that particular the particulars so that of course you can have them to a date type using the string to date. So of course you just use the string to date so that of course you can be able to change the particular date that you are having to the correct or desired date type that is actually acceptable in MySQL. So of course, when you're at this particular birth date, will actually just represent the particular birth dates that you have in your data. Then the current, yeah, so that of course you can have it maybe from a particular table that maybe you are reading it from. I may not have a good example right now to give for that. Just try to think out through. So let's because I think we still have some time. Let's try this. Let's just create a table so that of course we can just be able to try this out. So let's say this. So let's create a table. So this particular table, just say create table. Let's just name this table persons. Then my persons table takes in it takes in the ID of the person, which is just be an integer, and then of course it should be auto incremented, auto underscore increment. It should be the primary key. That should be the primary key. That primary key. Then it should also take for me the name. Yeah, the name will actually be a variable character. variable character, let's say that it doesn't exceed 100. Then of course, let's say we want got the birth date as well. Yeah, the birth date, which will actually just be a date in that manner. So let's say that actually goes that way. So let's execute this particular table. So let's give the particular database to use and just say use credible persons, no database selection, use example database. Example database. Yeah, use example database. Sorry, how do I select that? Just a minute. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute, guys. Not sure what's that. Sorry about that. So let's want to use the database. Is it not selecting that? Let me say use my database. Let's go database. Let me execute that and see. And then of course, let me go ahead and use this particular, create this table. So I'll just say execute this. So I've already created that table. The next thing that happens is I will now go ahead and so after I've actually done that, I need to actually insert some data. So I'll just say insert data. So to be able to insert data, I'll just insert some data of some names and their birth dates. So I'll just say insert into persons. Name and the birth date values. Then, of course, the particular values I'm going to give here. I'm going to give, like, let's say the value, let's say that I want John, let me just say an example of some name, John just say John, whose birth date will be given as maybe 1990, 05. The date was maybe 15th. In that manner. Then of course, let's close this. Let's give a comma and say the next name we have here, let's say maybe Jane. Jane, and let's say the age is the birth date, the birth date is let's say maybe 1985. Maybe let's say October 25th, 25. And then let's go ahead and also give maybe the last one and say that in this last one we have got maybe Michael. Michael, whose age, birth date, let's just pass his birth date as his birth date, let's pass here as let's say maybe 1978. The month, let's say like maybe the 12th, in that manner. So let me just go ahead and execute this particular. So in the execution, let me just execute that. So we've already populated that particular data. So I need to query so that I can be able to calculate the age of these particulars. So I'll say query to calculate the age. So to be able to query to calculate the age, I'll just say so let me just say select. Then of course the particulars to select for me here, select for me the name. Yeah, select for me the name. Yeah. And then also select for me the timestamp difference. So I'll just say time stamp difference. Yes. Where I'll actually be using the year, the birth date, date, yes. And then I'll also use the current date, yes. The current date, so I'll just say current date. So as actually the age, as the age in that manner. So you'll select this from persons. The persons table that are created from persons. So that's actually it. So let me run this query and see. So you can be able to see it returns for me the name and the particular ages that I have. John will actually be 33, Jane will 38, and this Michael will actually be 45 in that manner. So that's actually how you can be able to give the query of the different age, the timestamp ages that we have in that manner. So we're going to see how we can be able to extract the date times. I think we've already looked at that. You can be able to extract the day, hour, yeah, and so on. So we just looked at that. Then, so of course we've looked at that, how to be able to extract